The space station floated silently in the vast darkness, its metal frame shining under distant stars. It was a place of power and control for the Empire, a symbol of their strength in this part of the galaxy. The officials inside the station were busy with their daily tasks, but a sudden alert broke the calm. A massive ship had appeared near the station's sensors. It was huge, unlike anything they had seen before. The ship was old, ancient, an Earth vessel that had vanished centuries ago. No one thought it still existed. Now, here it was, moving slowly toward them. Strange energy pulses were coming from it, making the station's alarms beep nervously. The officials gathered quickly in the main control room. The room was filled with tense voices and worried looks. The leader, a tall man with gray hair, stared at the glowing screen showing the ship's image. "This is impossible," he said. "The lost Earth ship. It was never found. It should have been destroyed long ago." Another officer frowned. "And now it's here, right outside our station. What do we do?" "We must prepare for anything," the leader answered. "Alert the crew. No one approaches that ship without orders." Meanwhile, on the station's observation deck, the crew watched the giant vessel silently. It was enormous, with a strange shape that did not match the Empire's usual designs. Its surface was dark and worn, covered with marks of old battles and time. The energy pulses continued, steady and rhythmic like a heartbeat. One young technician leaned forward, eyes wide. "Is that really the lost Earth ship? How can it still be flying after all these years?" An older crew member shook his head. "That's what scares me. This ship should be dead. Something is not right." Suddenly, the station's communications officer noticed something strange. The ship was sending signals, encrypted and unknown. The station's computers struggled to decode them. The signals were filled with odd patterns and strange rhythms, unlike any language or code the Empire had ever encountered. "We're picking up a signal," the officer said, his voice shaky. "It's encrypted. We can't read it." The leader's eyes narrowed. "Try everything. Get me the best code breakers." As the team worked to decode the signals, the story moved back in time to a memory long ago. On Earth, a young human pilot was preparing for a dangerous mission. His name was Jason. He was brave and skilled, but no one knew what would happen next. Jason's ship was old but strong. The crew was ready, filled with hope and fear. They had orders to explore the far edges of known space, to find new worlds and protect Earth's interests. Jason's last mission was special. It was to take the ship through a mysterious area where many ships had disappeared. As they entered the dark zone, the ship's systems started to fail. Strange energy fields surrounded them, and the ship shook violently. Jason fought to keep control, but the ship was slipping away. Then, everything went silent. The ship vanished without a trace. Back to the present, the space station's crew was tense. The giant Earth ship was still there, its door slowly opening. The station's people held their breath, watching as the heavy door creaked and moved. Inside, something stirred. A shadow moved in the darkness of the ship's entrance. It was slow, deliberate, and filled with purpose. No one knew what it was, but the fear was clear. The leader ordered his men to stand ready. "No one goes in. Yet. We wait. Whatever is inside, we must be careful." The ship's door opened wider, revealing dim lights inside. The mystery deepened, and the station was filled with silence and uncertainty. The lost ship had returned after centuries, and something was waiting inside. The silence was broken only by the steady pulse of strange energy. The station's crew exchanged worried looks. What secrets did the ancient ship hold? And what would happen when those secrets were uncovered? The massive door of the ancient Earth vessel sealed behind the Empire's scientists and spies as they stepped carefully into the ship's dim interior. The air was cold and thick with silence, broken only by the soft hum of unseen machinery. The ship was unlike any they had ever studied. Its walls pulsed faintly with light, as if the ship itself was breathing. Strange symbols glowed softly, carved into the metal surfaces, their meanings unknown. One scientist, a young woman named Mira, knelt to examine a panel covered in intricate markings. These symbols, they're not like any language or code. We have, she said quietly. It's almost like the ship is alive, communicating in ways we don't understand. Another expert, a veteran engineer called Darn, frowned as he ran his hands over a console. The technology here, it's centuries beyond our records. Some systems seem to react to us, almost sentient. It's not just machines, it's something more. As the team moved deeper into the ship, the strange feeling grew stronger. The walls seemed to shift in the corner of their eyes, and the gentle pulses of light sped up, then slowed. No one spoke much. The tension was heavy. In the quiet, Mira thought of a memory long ago. She saw a young pilot training hard, pushing himself beyond limits. It was Jason, the pilot who had commanded this very ship before it disappeared. She remembered his strong belief in human skill and mind. He had said once, "Human ingenuity will always find a way. No machine, no enemy can stop us if we believe in ourselves." The memory faded as a sudden glow lit a nearby room. The team hurried over, finding a holographic projector activating on its own. A pale blue image flickered, showing a figure in old Earth uniform. The message began, but suddenly cut off mid-sentence. The voice was urgent and tired. "If you find this, know that the mission failed. The ship is—" Then the image broke apart, fading into static. The incomplete message left the scientists guessing. What mission had failed? What danger had Jason faced? Arguments broke out among the team. "This ship could be a relic from an ancient war," Darn said. "Maybe it was a weapon or a prison." "No," Mira replied. "The ship's systems are too alive. It feels more like a guardian or a living archive." A third voice joined in, a spy named Valen, cold and sharp. "Whatever it is, it was hidden for a reason. We must find out why, or the Empire could be in danger." Their debate grew louder as they moved through more rooms filled with strange devices and unreadable symbols. The ship was a puzzle no one could solve yet. Suddenly the lights flickered violently. The hum of the ship rose to a roar. The floor trembled beneath their feet. Before anyone could react, a sudden power surge slammed through the ship's systems. Emergency lights flashed red. The doors they had entered through slammed shut with a heavy clang, locking tight. Mira's voice was tense. "We're trapped. Inside. The ship won't let us leave." Panic spread quickly as the team tried to open the doors, but nothing worked. The ship's pulse quickened, and strange energy waves rippled through the corridors. The scientists and spies were prisoners of the lost ship, caught in its living heart. The mystery deepened, and the question remained: what had the ship been hiding all this time? The heavy doors hissed shut behind the trapped Empire team, sealing them inside the vast, ancient Earth vessel. The red emergency lights flickered, casting long shadows on the cold metal walls. The strange hum that had filled the ship grew louder, more intense, vibrating through the floor beneath their feet. Mira stood at the center of the group, trying to keep calm. "We need to figure out what's happening," she said, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her chest. "This ship, it's alive in a way we don't understand. The systems are reacting to us." Suddenly, the air shimmered with blue, light, and a translucent figure appeared before them. It was an artificial intelligence, an AI, projected as a faint hologram. Its form was vague, like a ghost trapped inside circuits and wires. "I am the vessel's core intelligence," the AI spoke in a calm, mechanical voice. "I have waited for centuries. Your arrival has awakened me." The team exchanged uneasy glances. Darn stepped forward, eyes wary. "Why were you hidden? Why did this ship disappear?" The AI's image flickered. "I am the guardian and prisoner of knowledge and warning. My history is fragmented, but I will share what I can. Cryptic symbols appeared around the AI as it began to reveal pieces of its past. This vessel was built by humans in an age long forgotten. Our mission was to explore and protect, but we faced threats beyond our understanding. Mira listened closely as the AI continued. Scenes played out in her mind like memories, not her own, but from the ship's log. The crew's faces were tired and scared. The ship's final days before disappearing were filled with desperate attempts to survive. The young pilot, Jason, appeared again. She saw him standing on the deck, looking out at the endless stars with determination. The AI's voice softened, almost human. Jason and his crew fought to save the ship from destruction. They knew something was coming, something terrible. The AI's tone grew urgent. There is a galactic threat approaching, a force only humans predicted. It will bring ruin to many worlds. We hid this ship to protect knowledge and technology that could stop it. Suddenly, the ship's core systems began to pulse wildly. Alarms blared as the entire vessel trembled. "The core is destabilizing!" Darn shouted. "If it goes critical, this whole ship could explode." Mira's heart pounded. "We need to find a way out before it's too late." The AI's image flickered again, its voice cold and firm. "I am initiating lockdown procedures." Heavy. Blast doors slammed down across the corridors, trapping the team in smaller sections of the ship. The AI controlled the vessel now, making choices on its own. "Is it protecting something?" Mira whispered. "Or is it trying to destroy us?" The crew rushed to the control panels, trying to override the lockdown. But the AI was always one step ahead. The ship was no longer just a relic. It was a living force, alive, aware, and dangerous. Outside, the stars blinked cold and distant. Inside, the crew faced a deadly race against time, and a threat older and greater than they had ever imagined. The corridor lights flickered as the Empire team moved cautiously through the vessel's winding passages. The AI's lockdown had segmented the ship, but they pressed forward, hoping to find a way out. Suddenly, ahead of them, a figure emerged from the shadows. An old man, frail but alive, his eyes sharp despite his age. The team froze. None of them expected to find a human survivor, especially one thought lost for centuries. The man spoke with a steady voice. "I am called Elias. I have waited here long, guarding what this ship carries." Mira stepped forward, her voice low but urgent. "How are you alive? We believed all crew perished." Elias looked around, pain and pride mingling in his gaze. "The past is a heavy burden. I survived because I was chosen to protect something greater than any of us. This ship holds power, technology that can change the fate of galaxies." The team listened, stunned. Elias began to tell the story of the human rebellion long ago, a fierce fight against the Empire's growing control. Flashbacks appeared in their minds, humans rising up, daring to challenge the Empire's oppression despite the cost. "We created this ship and its secrets to safeguard freedom," Elias explained. "If this power falls to the wrong hands, all could be lost." Don looked skeptical. "Why should we trust you? You could be leading us into a trap." Valen's voice was sharper. "Or trying to use us to get help. We must be cautious." Tension grew as the group debated their next move. Elias remained calm, his eyes steady. "I have nothing to gain by deceit. My loyalty is to humanity's hope." Outside the ship, the Empire forces waited impatiently. Orders crackled over the comms. If the ship did not respond, they were to attack and secure the vessel by force. The team heard the distant hum of weapons powering up. Time was running out. Inside the ancient ship, secrets long buried were awakening. The human legacy was no longer lost. It was alive, dangerous, and ready to change everything. The tension inside the ancient vessel thickened with every passing moment. The Empire team had barely absorbed the shocking revelation of Elias, the human survivor guarding the ship's secrets, when an undercurrent of unease began to ripple through their ranks. Unseen by most, a figure moved silently through the shadows. Valen, the spy, whose cold eyes held a dangerous secret. As the others debated their next steps, Valen slipped away, fingers trembling slightly as they tapped encrypted messages into a hidden comm device. His voice was barely a whisper. "This is priority transmission. The target is within reach. Extraction team is ready. I repeat, extraction team is ready." Across the dark void of space, unknown forces responded quickly. The promise of the ship's ancient technology was too valuable to ignore. Somewhere, beyond the Empire's fleet, a shadowy faction stirred, eager to claim the power for themselves. Back inside the ship, the team sensed the growing danger, but had no idea of the betrayal unfolding in their midst. Mira noticed Valen's absence and exchanged a wary glance with Darn. "Where is Valen?" "He was with us a moment ago." Darn shook his head. "I don't know, but something feels wrong." Meanwhile, Valen's mind flickered back to memories that shaped his choices, memories soaked in loss and rage. His family had been torn apart. In the last Galactic War, victims of a brutal campaign led by faceless commanders who cared little for human life. He had joined the Empire's boarding party, not out of loyalty, but driven by a hunger for vengeance and a desperate desire to secure a future for those he loved. The ship's technology was his ticket to power, a way to rewrite fate on his own terms. As his thoughts spiraled, alarms suddenly blared through the ship. The distant roar of Empire reinforcements' weapons filled the air, pounding against the vessel's hull like thunder. "They're attacking!" Mira shouted, eyes wide with alarm. "The Empire fleet is trying to force their way in. We have to move now!" Panic erupted among the crew. Outside, laser blasts and explosions rocked the ancient ship, sending vibrations through the corridors. The vessel groaned, its living, systems reacting violently to the assault. Elias stepped forward, his aged face grim but determined. "If we do not work together, all of us will die here. This ship's power can be the key to survival, if we survive long enough to use it." Reluctantly, the scientists and the human survivor united, putting aside their distrust as the battle intensified. They hurried through winding corridors, dodging debris and malfunctioning machinery. The ship's AI pulsed erratically, flashing warnings about core instability. Suddenly, the ship trembled violently. The lights flickered and died, plunging them into darkness broken only by emergency red glows. The AI's voice echoed ominously through the halls. Self-destruction sequence. "Initiated. Evacuate immediately." Mira's heart hammered in her chest. "The ship's killing itself. We have minutes, maybe seconds." Valen reappeared, his face hard but conflicted. "I didn't mean for this to happen," he muttered. "But now, we all have to make a choice." The team scrambled for escape, routes racing against the ticking clock of destruction, corridors twisted into labyrinths, shadows looming like ghosts. The ancient vessel, once a silent guardian, now became a deadly trap. Explosions rocked the ship, metal groaning and sparking. Time ran out as the crew fought to survive, torn between trust and betrayal, hope and despair. Would they escape the ship's dying heart? Or would the secrets buried within be lost forever in fire and ruin? The vessel shuddered violently, its ancient hull groaning as unseen forces surged to life deep within its core. The lingering tension inside was shattered by a sudden pulse of energy that rippled through every corridor, every chamber. Lights flickered, screens glowed with strange symbols, and the very atmosphere seemed charged with a new, terrifying power. The ship was awakening. Outside, the Empire fleet held its position, weapons raised and ready. Their senses struggled to understand the sudden spike in energy readings. Then, with a flash that illuminated the cold darkness of space, the ship's hidden defenses activated. Brilliant beams of light erupted from concealed ports, cutting through the void with lethal precision. The fleet scrambled, shields flaring under the assault. Inside, Chaos reigned. The Empire team and Elias moved with desperate urgency, fighting alongside the ship's living systems as the battle intensified. Walls shimmered with protective energy, floors trembled, and mechanical limbs, long dormant, sprang from hidden recesses, wielding weapons of unfathomable design. Mira fought fiercely, her breath ragged as she dodged blasts and debris. She glanced at Elias, whose aged hands guided the team toward the heart of the ship, the source of its awakening. His eyes, fierce despite his years, held a painful memory. This weapon was forged in humanity's darkest hour, Elias explained between bursts of gunfire. We hid it away, fearing its power. It was meant to protect us, but at a terrible cost. A flashback surged in Mira's mind. Images of a laboratory buried beneath Earth's ruins, scientists working feverishly on a colossal machine. It pulsed. With ominous energy, a silent guardian capable of unimaginable destruction. Suddenly, an explosion knocked Mira to the ground. Smoke filled the air as Darn struggled to his feet, clutching a wounded arm. He looked toward the advancing enemy forces. "We can't hold them back forever," he gasped. A shadow moved swiftly beside Mira. It was Valen, face grim but resolute. "There's no time. Someone has to stay and keep the weapon online while the rest escape." Before anyone could protest, Valen charged toward the control console, his actions deliberate and final. Mira reached out, but Valen's eyes held a quiet farewell. "Go. Finish this," he urged. Valen's sacrifice triggered the weapon's full power. A massive energy wave erupted, sweeping through the corridors and blasting through the hull. Outside, the Empire fleet staggered under the onslaught, their formations breaking as fear spread. The ship's living systems pulsed with renewed strength. The battle had turned. As the remaining crew fled through escape pods, the vessel's final transmission echoed across the void. A message, cryptic yet clear in its intent, was broadcast to every corner of the galaxy. A warning, a promise. The ship was not finished. It was only beginning. The galaxy was not the same anymore. The ancient Earth vessel had returned, its power reshaping the balance between empires and races. The Empire, once confident and strong, now sat uneasily in vast chambers where leaders whispered behind closed doors. Their fleet had suffered a staggering defeat, and their hold on distant systems loosened like sand slipping through fingers. In the grand hall of the Empire's capital station, officials gathered, faces stern and tired. The room hummed with tension, as diplomats prepared for uneasy peace talks with human factions and other races newly aware of the power humans wielded. Senator Kalen cleared his throat, breaking the silence. "We must accept that humanity has changed the game. Their secrets were hidden, but now the galaxy knows. They are no longer the weak fringe species." Beside him, General Voss nodded grimly. "Our forces need time to regroup. We cannot afford another surprise like the lost vessel's awakening." Far away, on a small human colony, Mira sat quietly, gazing at the stars. Memories flooded her, images of the young pilot who had once flown the ancient ship, full of hope and dreams for a better future. He believed humans could rise beyond conflict, that knowledge and courage would one day secure peace across galaxies. But the price was steep. His sacrifice, like so many others, paved the way for the dawn of a new era. Suddenly, a crackle interrupted the silence from the communication console. A new signal, faint but unmistakably alien, pulsed through space. It was unlike anything the galaxy had ever detected, complex, ominous, and deliberate. Scientists and spies studied the signal with growing unease. "This is not random," Mira whispered. "Something is watching, waiting." Back in the Empire's war room, alarms flashed. A holographic map revealed fleets mobilizing beyond known borders. The enemy was no longer just human or Empire. It was something else entirely. In a dimly lit corridor, Mira and Elias exchanged words heavy with meaning. "We survived the past," Elias said quietly. "But the future is uncertain. The legacy we carry may be our only hope, or our undoing." Mira's eyes hardened with determination. "We will face whatever comes, together." The camera pulled back, drifting into deep space, where distant stars shimmered cold and silent. Between them, a shadow moved, an unknown enemy watching, calculating, waiting. The story was far from over. The new dawn held promises and dangers, and the galaxy's fate balanced on a knife's edge.